If you've been following Philippines social media lately, then you know exactly who I'm talking about. That Mr. Roosipuu, also known by that incredibly misleading channel name, Pro-Lifer Traveler. And almost immediately, I saw comment sections filling up with defenders. People saying, oh, poor guy, he just overstayed his visa by a few days. The Philippines is overreacting. But I want you guys to listen closely. You don't just get deported for an overstay of a few days. So today we're gonna sit down and talk about why. Because the misinformation is going rampant. You don't get manhunted by federal agencies just because you didn't renew your tourist visa after 3 to 5 days. You just pay the fine at the airport. But something else has happened here as well. We need to talk about the actual laws that were potentially broken based on the videos he proudly uploaded himself. If you guys know anything about me, I've been living in the Philippines for nearly 10 years, and I have an absolute genuine respect for this country and the people in it. I have 2 kids in this country, and I think that not a lot of foreigners are actually coming out to discuss these things. We need to talk about why defending this behavior is just absurd when the evidence is right there in 4K resolution. So let's get into the potential laws that he's actually broken. Until now, I still haven't seen any charges filed, but with my own 2 eyes and knowing the basics of these laws, this is clear as water. So before we get into this deep dive into the Republic Acts, I have to put the giant disclaimer right here on the screen. I'm not a lawyer. This is educational commentary based on public documents and knowledge of Philippine laws. This is just based on my own research, time that I've put in, hours and hours of research that I've put in to come up with this video. I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. What we're doing today is looking at the publicly available facts, the videos that millions of people saw, the statements of the Bureau of Immigration, and the complaints from the locals in Dumaguete. And a little side note, because there has been a little confusion out there, this vlogger has absolutely zero connection to the legitimate Pro-Life Philippines Foundation, which has been around for almost 50 years. Okay, so let's get into the meat of this, guys. And of course, before we start, subscribe to the channel, like this content for more news and about expats in the Philippines. So let's tackle the biggest defense first, the he just overstayed argument. I've seen foreigners, even some Filipinos defending him, saying, why ruin his life over a visa date? Guys, let's be real about how immigration works here. If you are a normal tourist in the Philippines, enjoying the beaches, respecting the culture, and you accidentally overstayed your 30-day visa waiver by 48 hours, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, what really happens? Do the PMP SWAT team and BI intelligence officers track you down to your hotel? No. When you get to either of the 2 main airports in this country, the immigration officer notices you paid the requisite fines and fees, which really isn't cheap, but it's just money. You leave. You pay the fines, you leave the country. You aren't necessarily blacklisted unless there's a massive overstay or you can't pay. The fact that the Bureau of Immigration Commissioner himself issued a mission order to hunt this guy down signifies one thing. He is not just an overstaying tourist. He is considered to be a threat to the public interest and the morals of the people in the country here. My guess is that the overstaying is the easiest technicality to hold him on while they process the bigger issues. It's the paperwork excuse, I think, in my opinion, not the root cause. To the people defending this guy, on visa groups, on different expat groups, in my comments, don't ignore the videos. If you look at his videos from 6 months ago and now, you can see that he deleted a ton of his content. If you've watched his videos before, most of them were taken down. You saw the pattern. He wasn't travel vlogging, he was pranking. But the definition of prank may be something that you thought would be a joke, which is not really, it's harassment. So this brings us to the first Philippine law that I think his actions seem to violate squarely. And that is the Republic Act number 11313, the Safe Spaces Act, the Bawal Bastos law. This law is huge here, and us as foreigners, we should educate ourselves on these things because we're in a land of different laws. This law was specifically designed to stop street harassment and online sexual harassment. Let's look at what he did. He was following people down the streets. He was thrusting cameras into the faces of women who were clearly uncomfortable and trying to get away, and a lot of times hiding their faces. He was asking deeply inappropriate, sexualized questions to random strangers in public spaces. From what I've learned under the Safe Spaces Act, this is textbook craziness the law defines. gender-based streets and public spaces, sexual harassment, to include unlawful and uninvited sexual actions or remarks against any person. It also includes intrusive gazing, taunting, persistent uninvited comments or gestures on a person's appearance. When you go up to a Filipina in the street of Dumaguete while she's practically trying to avoid you, or you touch her and say, "Why are you so skinny?" asking her deeming questions for clout, you are potentially violating this RA 11313 law. But it gets a layer deeper because he uploaded it. This law also covers gender-based online sexual harassment. This includes using information and communication technologies to terrorize, intimidate victims through physical, psychological, and emotional threats, or putting out unwanted sexual remarks and comments online. By filming these non-consenting women, making them look foolish or sexualizing them without their permission, and broadcasting it to the world for monetization, that moves the crime from the streets to the internet. And his defenders say, "Oh, it's just a joke."
Damn, you're so guapa.
Thank you.
You do weight, but oh my goodness, I touched you.
This law says you can't terrorize women in public for YouTube views. There is a difference here. Now, if the Bawal Bastos violations weren't enough to get the authorities involved, the next part absolutely was, 100%. And this is the part that makes my blood boil the most. See, according to reports, some of the subjects of his harassment videos were minors. And this changes the game. The Philippines has a very strict rules protecting underage people here. From what I've researched, the primary one is the Republic Act number 7610, the Special Protection of Underage or Children Against Abuse and Exploitation and Discrimination Act. The moment you involve someone that's underage in content that is demeaning or that it exploits them in any kind of way, you're crossing a very severe legal line. Even if he didn't physically touch them. The RA 7610 has provisions against acts that debase, degrade, or demean the intrinsic worth and dignity of someone underage. Filming a teenager without their permission, their parent consent, mocking them, walking or following them, putting them in uncomfortable situations for an internet video can be interpreted as a psychological abuse or exploitation under this law. If there's one law that I've read about that this country takes super seriously, it is the RA 7610. It's super serious. This is likely the catalyst that moved this from the Bureau of Immigration issue to a police manhunt issue. And so we have to address the other element here and beyond what was on video. There are other issues, allegations that surfaced during the investigation in Dumaguete. Now, I want to be very careful because these are just allegations. But there were reports circulating locally. An incident where a woman claimed she got drunk with the vlogger and later realized her pants had been removed with no memory of it happening. Now again, these are completely unproven. This is just speculations, things that have been circulating out there. We have to respect the process, the due process. However, when the immigration is deciding whether someone is an undesirable alien, they don't need a criminal conviction. They need a preponderance of evidence that your presence here in this country is a danger to public welfare and morals. So when you combine the viral videos of public harassment, the involvement of underage people, and these kinds of serious reports from the community, the immigration has more than enough justification to label someone as an undesirable alien. And that is under the Philippine Immigration Act of 1940. Section 37 of the Act is a catch-all if you are wrecking public morals, causing chaos, and disrespecting the host country. You are deemed undesirable. That is why he's being deported. Not because the calendar alert for his visa didn't go off. So my final thoughts on the situation: the Philippines is an incredibly welcoming country. The people are incredibly welcoming. You could literally talk to a stranger today and tonight you'll be at their house singing karaoke and eating lechon with them. They are famous for their hospitality. I've never had an issue. Tourists who come here and appreciate the beauty and the culture, those are the guys who will last long here. The Philippines is not a playground for toxic content creators. This country has changed my life in a lot of ways, changed me as a person, as a man, as a father. And I really feel like I have a responsibility to point these things out because the Philippines and the Filipino people are real people with real laws designed to protect their dignity. If you come here and treat the country like a toilet for clout, don't be surprised when the country flushes you out. I want to know you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Have you guys seen any of his defenders too? Let's discuss this down below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps with the algorithm to get the truth out there. And subscribe, of course, for more deep dives and what's happening in the Philippines. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe and respect the law. Peace.
Know you used to love me. I know you got some